welcome into the first edition of Connor's Takes, a
Ah,
show on the Undercovers YouTube channel. Hopefully it's weekly, but it's the first time that we're going to do this. This is going to be week, kind of maybe sort of weekly content on the Undercovers YouTube channel as we try to grow as a show, grow as a podcast, give you more content than just us talking for an entire hour on a on a Monday night to you. So give you some extra content just in case if you just want it.
who
Without
doesn't
further
want extra
ado,
content?
who doesn't want extra content? I mean, especially fiery hot takes. That's what Connor's going to bring you. And it's kind of like watch. I have a feeling this is going to turn into like a first take rendition where I'm just the host, like Molly, and I'm just sitting there, and this Connor's just going to go off, and I'm like, how do I control this dude? Like I don't have
Exactly.
but this is the opposite of a producer screaming into my ear. So you have to control this dude so we can hit a commercial break.
Yeah, what are commercial breaks? We don't believe in those here. We believe in unrefined, unrestricted chaos.
What was unrefined, unrestricted chaos is Tyler Bass game-winning field goal, well, game-tying field goal goes wide right. That's not the first time a wide right has happened in Buffalo. Connor, give me your take on how do the Bills get over the hump? Like, does somebody impactful have to leave in order for the Bills to get over the hump?
Well, not leave. I don't know who would leave without significantly hurting the team. You can't make, I mean, when you say significant, I immediately think of like, okay, Stephon Diggs, but Stephon Diggs is not leaving this team. He could tweet all he wants, he could talk all he wants, but he's done the same song and dance the last couple of years. He's not leaving the team. As a matter of fact, he's more of the team's leader than literally anyone else. Sure, you can have Josh Allen talking to guys in the locker room. You could have Deion Dawkins doing the same thing. But no, everybody looks at Diggs. Look at all the sideline videos of Stephon Diggs going up to the players, trying to amp them up, trying to hype them up. Especially look at Stephon Diggs. I believe it was the Dolphins game, end of the season, division on the line. He just walks up to Josh Allen when Allen's sitting on the bench and he just looks at him and he goes, "This is the killer right here. This is where you put the dagger in their heart." And what does he do? Drives right down the field. I believe that was a touchdown on the drive. Or no, it wasn't a touchdown. It was it gave the Dolphins bad field position with minimal time left. Tua went down the field and couldn't make it. Threw that beautiful interception right to Taylor Rapp. Game over. Division sealed. Crisis averted. And hey, Stefan was right. As for others that might be leaving, you can't cut Tyler Bass, not unless you're like guaranteed that you're going to get this incredible kicker who never misses when it matters most. Every kicker misses kicks. Thinking that Tyler Bass is going to leave is just honestly kind of crazy. Tyler Bass has been money in every situation you put him in, and the one time, which seems to me more like God hates the Bills, that he misses the kick on really no fault of his own. The kick looked like it was about to sail right in, and then it just went. Yeah, I'm not saying it, but you could see that the wind blew the kick. So it's like, does God hate the Bills? Do we have to go into? Do we have to like go into high market, perform a seance on the 50-yard line to cure this team of the curse? Nobody fell in the pit. No one fed the pit either. I already saw that. Apparently, nobody in the divisional round, according to Erie County sheriffs, they released all the names of the people that had been sacrificed to the pit. Not a single one of them was during the divisional round. That photo of the guy or the video of the guy that fell into the pit, yeah, I think he really didn't fall into the pit. He just got up and walked right out. You could see the top of his head right as he fell in the pit. So he didn't really fall in the pit. Nobody got sacrificed to the pit. The whole Peppa Pig nonsense kind of seems a little crazy, but he was the spirit of Peppa Pig was not there in the final minutes when we needed Peppa Pig. At the end of the day, though, you're gonna be fine. You just need to get healthy. The team's defense is what completely killed the Bills this time, like it did in the 13 seconds game too. Yeah, that's bad memories too. That was a little long ago, but still, at the end of the day, get healthy on defense. Matt Milano will be back. Terrell Bernard will be back. Get younger on defense at the same time. There's a possibility that there will be no Micah Hyde or Jordan Poyer next season. You have to move on and you have to find the people that are going to fill those holes, whether it be in the draft or free agency, but you have to get younger. Build that new defensive core that will last you for years, not just this core that is full of vets that maybe you can win, maybe you can't win. Not to say anything about Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Both are absolutely incredible players. And, you'd love to see them come back for another year. But at the end of the day, if they don't, they don't. And it's going to suck to see them all leave. But you got to get younger on defense. Retool the offense. Give Joe Brady time to actually build a real season long game plan to maximize Josh Allen's strength, not only with his arm, but with his gargantuan legs. He can run the ball. He needs to do that. He did it so well against the Steelers and even against the Chiefs. He did so well. Maximize the game plan, get healthy on defense, draft some great guys on offense, and maybe just maybe throw a few more people in the pit and we'll get over the hump. Always have optimism. It sucks right now. That was a sucky loss, but you gotta have faith that they can come back. I don't trust nobody more than Brandon Beane to fill the roster. Believe me.
If Brandon Bean does anything, he knows how to make money. He's that dude that he can that will make money somehow. I mean, he's a math wizard of some sort because he knows how to crunch the cap like any like he knows how to do it. I mean, I don't know how he does it. I mean, he must take like 15 classes of statistics while in college or something in order for him to get that smart at salary cap. But let's get into some interesting NFL topics. NFL hires. There's two
Oh,
spots. There's two
yeah.
spots remaining. Seattle and Washington. Vrabel and Belichick is out there. I'm going to propose this to you. Is
Oh.
Coach Belichick officially done coaching?
I am going to be completely honest. I'm going to say yes. I have a feeling that out of all the hires that have been made, a few were kind of surprises. Atlanta went with Raheem Morris instead of Bill Belichick, despite being the only team to actually interview Belichick not once but twice. Nobody else has even bothered to bring in Bill Belichick for an interview at all. But at the end of the day, I mean, how are you going to interview a guy like Bill Belichick anyway? It seems to be more like you're not interviewing Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's just looking at your roster and going, "Okay, I like this. Sign me up. I'll 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 take this offer." But no, the fact that Atlanta didn't and decided to go with Raheem Morris is interesting to me. On top of Michigan taking Jim Harbaugh, more on that later. But I think he's done. I think Washington has their sights on Ben Johnson and wants to wait until the Lions are eliminated from the playoffs. Hopefully not this week. Hopefully not next week if they get there. Like if once the Lions are eliminated, I think they'll take more of a look into Ben Johnson and just say they won't even let him leave the building. They will give Ben Johnson whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
As for the Seahawks, I don't know what this plan is because it seems like they really haven't interviewed many people, and the ones they've interviewed are already gone. They're taking head coaching jobs elsewhere. So who's left? Mike Vrabel? I mean, that would be a instant, 5-star hire if the Seattle Seahawks were to take Mike Vrabel. But how would he fit, with the players, with the team, what would his goals for the future in Seattle be? There's just so many questions regarding what to do at this point. But I think the thing that everyone is talking about, obviously, is the Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers hire. Everybody was like, "Oh man, here come the Chargers again. Justin Herbert's about to be put back on the map. The AFC is going to be that much worse." And all I want to say is stop. Where have we seen this before? Where have we seen a coach go, "Hey, I'm going to go revitalize a franchise after being away for a little while"? If you guessed Denver with Sean Payton, you're right. You remember what happened that first year? They kind of sucked.
They
You
did.
remember what happened that second year? They were just a little better, but the star quarterback got ran out of town because Sean Payton said, "I don't like you, scram." What? And then everybody's talking about, oh, the AFC West is about to be this bloodbath with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, along with, Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Yeah, we've seen this movie before too, haven't we? The Chiefs still won the AFC West easily. It is a whole lot more to assume that Jim Harbaugh is going to take some time to get back into the swing of things as a head coach than to immediately say this roster full of holes is going to somehow automatically start contending in the AFC again. Because, yes, they've got holes. They're not a perfect team. We saw what happened when Herbert went down. They lost Mike Williams to a season ending injury. I know he was my fantasy wide receiver too at the beginning of the year. Seeing that kind of hurt, but the defense wasn't really that good. And Derwin James, more on him later. I don't want to spoil that. But this team needs a lot of work. You saw where they were with Herbert, and they really weren't that much better with Herbert. Like they were good, but they weren't really going to be contenders. So all the new hire stuff, everything that's been talked about, we've got interviews going out for other positions. Bobby Babich has taken defensive
Yeah, he
coordinator
has.
interviews, which funny enough comes from the Dolphins. We'll get to that toward the end of the show. But I feel like Bobby Babich better not leave that building. Do not let Buffalo do not let him leave. You can deny the request from the Dolphins, but he's already taken other interviews. You've got to convince him. The great mind I know that usually would be on the show co-hosting with us straight up said this, and I agreed with them 100%. You have to convince Babich that the show is not over in Buffalo. Milano and Bernard have not played a full season with each other. And nor has, I believe it was, my mind blanked on it, Benford and
White?
somebody else. My mind completely
No.
blanked on it because was it, oh, Benford and Douglas, right? Rasul Douglas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't played a full
Something.
season together
Yeah.
yet either.
No, they have not.
Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas, because Douglas came in halfway through the year in the trade at the trade deadline. Those two haven't meshed a full season. The potential for this team's defense is to be great if they can stay healthy. Why would Bobby Babich want to go to another team, especially the freaking Dolphins, who get torched continuously by Josh Allen twice a year, some maybe even 3 times a year? Why would you want to go and be a part of that? I mean, they've got a great defense, don't get me wrong. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins. They got a great defense, but they can't ever beat Josh Allen. So why are you going to go try to make it work when they clearly can't beat Josh Allen? Stay in the building. You're not going to get it much better anywhere else.
He's not. Staying in Buffalo, I think, is his best choice. But kind of before we head into the next hot takes topic here, one quick push on the Jim Harbaugh thing. The offense really would work with one particular quarterback, his former quarterback at Michigan, JJ McCarthy. Why
That's
I'm saying
interesting.
this because JJ McCarthy to me personally would can be a starter in this league, but it has to be the right system. He would be the system quarterback, i.e., Purdy in some case. The right system would help JJ McCarthy, basically giving him an elite back, which they have, and a couple of talented receivers, which they have. If it doesn't work with Herbert, and if they decide, we want to take a backup because obviously injury concerns with Justin Herbert, JJ McCarthy sitting behind Justin Herbert, not a bad idea.
That's
Then
an
if you
interesting
kind of
idea.
your Sean Payton idea, second year the quarterback got ran out of town. Third year JJ McCarthy emerges with Jim Harbaugh.
That's actually kinda interesting to really think about it, because let me quickly remind you for 1 minute, Paul, where these teams are picking in the draft. Where on God's green earth are you going to justify taking JJ McCarthy if you're the Chargers? You pick 5th in this year's draft. What are you gonna justify taking JJ McCarthy at 5?
You don't take him at 5. You
Like,
take him in the later rounds because I don't
okay.
think JJ McCarthy goes in the first round, nor the second
Ooh.
round, or the third round. He's a day 3 type dude, like anywhere from 4 to 7.
Oh, you
Primarily, I would think he goes in that 4 to 6 range.
oh. So you don't think so? I
I
actually
think
think
he's going
so.
to be that if I feel like he's going to be that late round quarterback that's going to emerge into like a superstar talent or just a guy that can be the guy. Because I don't kind of like he's going to be a better version of Brock Purdy. That's my comparison of JJ McCarthy. It's just a better version of a Brock Purdy.
Hmm,
Brock Purdy went last pick of the draft. I don't think that's
that he
JJ
did.
McCarthy. I think he's
Nah. I
speaking
mean,
about the draft.
oh boy.
Who are some of your, big name, you know, juicy, big bold names in the draft for the Buffalo Bills? Do they do they think I've been hearing this maybe thrown around a few times. Trade up more than 2 or 3 spots, maybe like 10, maybe 11 spots to try to get a bona fide stud.
I've been hearing the same thing. And yes, if you could justify this, because you have to remember we're picking 28th. That's not much leeway for an elite talent. Like, you'll get a good talent, especially if you're going wide receiver at round 1. This draft is so deep at wide receiver that you'll get the cream of the crop almost anywhere. But if you think about it, like, okay, there's a bunch of good options in the middle around 28. Okay, oh, boo hoo. Say you trade up what you just said, Paul. Say you trade up 10 spots. You would then be trading with the Cincinnati Bengals to go to pick 18, who also need a wide receiver. They were mocked, I believe it was by Daniel Jeremiah of Fox Sports, or actually, no, it wasn't Daniel Jeremiah. It was Rob Rang, one of the NFL draft analysts for Fox Sports. He had the Bengals picking a wide receiver at 18. So if you jump up 10 spots, maybe you won't get Cincinnati because they're going to be like, okay, yeah, we know what your game plan is. But if you could take a spot from a team maybe a little lower than that, like maybe 19, you'll get the Rams, 20, you'd get the Steelers. 21's out of the question. I would not trade with the Dolphins. 22, you're going to get Philly. Like, if you could get that in that range, the same agenda that I've been spouting for days can come to life. If Keon Coleman falls in your lap, you take him. I am a Florida State fan. I watched Keon Coleman tear the whole field up. he would fit so well in the Bills scheme, especially with Joe Brady, hopefully, like I said earlier, making an entirely new offensive game plan, one for the whole season, centering around Josh Allen's cannon arm and Josh Allen's mobility in and out of the pocket. Get Keon Coleman. He's a big guy. He can create mismatches on some of the worst corners in the league. Well, I would hope anybody could. Let's be real. That's why they got. That's why. I mean, Khalil Shakir's getting a lot of attention, toasting some pretty good corners, toasting some pretty mid corners. But your third wide receiver has got to be your third wide receiver. I would say more than anything that Khalil Shakir has earned his wide receiver two role. So my choice is Keon Coleman. Plenty of other names have floated around. As a matter of fact, the same Fox Sports draft that I looked at has the Bills taking Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon. I haven't watched much tape on him, I'll admit, but I'm hearing that's a solid pick. I think Xavier Worthy out of, I believe, Texas would be a really solid pick as well. I watched a couple of Texas games, and they're pretty good at wide receiver, them guys down there. So there's a lot of options. I mean, shoot, you could even go safety or defensive back because this draft is so deep at wide receiver that you're more guaranteed to hit a good stud. You could possibly go out of the way, but at the end of the day, I still think wide receivers should be the priority unless you somehow land one in free agency. That side I look, Paul. What did I say that just cooked your mind?
Safety or defense? Okay, for who's listening out there, you know, yes, cornerback and safety is a grand issue that, or really not cornerback, more like safety is an issue. Yes, picking one in the first round, I wouldn't trade up 10, 11 spots
Okay,
to
now
pick a
there, yes.
safety.
Yeah, now don't trade up. I should have put that as the addendum. You're not trading up if you're gonna pick a defensive player in the first round, like a safety or a cornerback. Not
Oh,
in
yeah,
that
because the
case.
Bills wanna take a one tech, you're gonna just straight out of the first round, you get somebody good in the second round. Like, no, this is the draft where if Brandon Bean is serious here and wants to give his quarterback some weapons, it's drafting a receiver in the first round and getting one in the free agency market. It's double dipping. I mean, sorry, maybe even triple dip. One in free agency, two in the draft. You're set for maybe the next 6 years 6 plus years at receiver. Don't
Oh,
turn
for sure.
don't turn Josh Allen into Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
Just
jeez.
giving him one receiver to work with and like giving and then the rest of the other mid dudes. Obviously they
Mhm.
have Kincaid and others, but more than more just give him more than just Diggs,
I
you
mean,
know?
yeah, you're not wrong. Don't turn him into Tua. Make it where only defenses only look at Tyreek Hill, or in this
All
case,
right.
only look at Stephon Diggs. Oh yeah, double dipping in the draft for wide receiver would be huge.
All
Like I
right,
said,
quickly cuz we don't want to make this so super enjoy the rest of your night. Quick content here. Quickly, who does the Bill who is your, maybe Bills free agent darling or the surprise free agency move that nobody's expecting to happen?
oh, free agency darling. I'll be completely honest. I'll push for a wide receiver as long as Bean can do his cap wizardry and figure out the nature of whatever we could do. Because already, if you restructure Josh Allen's contract, you're going to chop off, I believe, around 25 million in cap. You're
Yeah.
still at that point 20 something million over the cap. You got to make more moves. But if you can make enough to generate positive cap and sign somebody, I actually believe signing a wide receiver here would be huge. There's a couple of nice targets out there. Some I've seen are completely unrealistic. Don't even think about it. Ahem, the people that want Mike Evans, it's not going to happen because he's going to want a load of money. And we can't do that. Even with the best cap wizardry, we can't do that. So you kind of have to kind of go for a second best option here. Michael Pittman was a name that I saw floating around a little while, and why not, right? Get a veteran wide receiver that's had some time on an up and coming team. I think him, maybe as wide receiver 3, along with Diggs and Shakir, and then Dalton Kincaid and maybe Dawson Knox. I don't really know if he's going to stay or go in the offseason. But you got those 3. That's a pretty solid wide receiver duo. But Paul, you've heard this. A lot of others have heard this too. The injuries at linebacker completely destroyed us at the end of the season. Paul's smiling. He knows where this is going. There is a particular free agent linebacker on the market who I have to have a lot of love for and would just absolutely kill to get him on the Bills. Yeah, you're going to hear it first. It's Andrew Van Ginkel from the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are in about as bad a cap situation as the Bills are. They have to decide who they're going to pay between Tua Tagovailoa, Javon Holland, Jalen Waddle, Christian Wilkins, Connor Williams, Teron Armstead, Austin Jackson, Rob Hunt. Can I keep going? Because I'm still not even done. They're going to lose somebody who wants that money in free agency. Why not Andrew Van Ginkel to the Bills to pair with Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard? Could you imagine the scenario in which you get Andrew Van Ginkel? He's on the field when you're in Miami. We already know how well Bills Mafia takes over Highmark Stadium to the south. We already know that. Imagine it's a critical third down. Tua Tagovailoa has the ball. They're getting ready to throw a deep shot to Tyreek Hill. The line breaks. Andrew Van Ginkel sacks Tua to end the game. And all of Bills Mafia starts singing Andrew Van Ginkel like was on I believe it was on Hard Knocks. Could you guys imagine that for just one moment? Imagine the dagger in the heart of the Dolphins fan base when you imagine that. Everybody in Bills Mafia just singing Andrew Van Ginkel to end the game and continue the dominance over the Dolphins. Paul, think about it. Wouldn't you love the idea just for the thought alone? Heaven forbid depth at a weak position. Well, it's not a weak position, obviously, but depth at a position that could really use it. Just think about it. It's not like we could trade for Jalen Phillips. I'd love that even more, but the cost to trade for Jalen Phillips and to pay Jalen Phillips, that's not happening. We're never going to be able to do that.
I mean, Van Ginkel's fine. I mean, I just the thing is, you're just not going to take Bernard off the field. So, like,
You're not.
give Andrew Van Ginkel, you would have to take linebacker 3 money, but which I don't think you would. So,
Maybe he doesn't. But the idea, if he wants to be here, should be here just to get a solid depth option.
all right,
He already
let's skip.
played quite a bit, with the Dolphins because of their own injuries, but still, he was killing it when he was on the field. It'd be great
All right,
for us.
final topic of the night as we approach the 30-minute mark of this show, which is what we're aiming for, but that's all right. But we can go an extra few minutes here. It may be 5-ish minutes. Explain why. Because this is for some reason, this is the words that you gave me in the list of things we're covering. Why are the Dolphins idiots?
Okay. It's this is kind of funny to start with. The fact that Vic Fangio left because you couldn't retain his services is hilarious. The fact that they not only couldn't retain him, but the fact that he immediately got the Philadelphia Eagles DC job is funny to me. Like, it's genuinely hilarious. You're now on your either second or third straight new defensive coordinator in 3 years. That under the
Third
Mike
defensive coordinator in 3 years, yes.
Yep, you
Mhm.
just said it, Paul. Third in 3 years under the Mike McDaniel regime. Look how many defensive coordinators you've already gone through, and that wasn't even your biggest problem. Your biggest problem was your dud offense, and you're gonna let Vic Fangio go without even a second thought? I mean, I know at the end of the day, he said he wanted to be close to his family in Philadelphia. Okay,
which
but you're
makes
not even
sense.
gonna but you're not even gonna try to keep him in the building to give their players a second year to really build your system? And you touted Vic Fangio as this savior that's going to make you able to beat the Bills? Bruh, you just let him go that easy, and who are you gonna replace him with, Brandon Staley? I mean, okay, there's obviously a big difference between defensive coordinator and head coach. Brandon Staley was the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers because he was a great defensive coordinator. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was with the Rams when they had Jalen Ramsey on the team. If that's correct, that's a good job. They did really well. But the thing is, this is still Brandon freaking Staley we're talking about here. This guy ain't known for smart decision making. What are the odds he can create a defense that will immediately just meld with whatever Vic Fangio had left in Miami? And on top of all of that, you just talk all the smack, thinking, oh man, he's straight up going to be this savior that saves the team. But no, it didn't happen. And now your best option is Brandon Staley. I mean, I know they're interviewing others. I think one of the other ones was Sean Desai. I can't pronounce his last name. The Eagles defensive coordinator. Am I right, Paul?
Wait,
Did they actually interview?
I honestly don't know. I don't. To be fair, I don't follow Miami Dolphin news.
I mean, to be
Um,
fair, I don't blame you. Don't even bother with it anymore.
I don't know if there's anything I would have to. It's probably something that's hidden within the weeds because of all the other coaching interviews slash hires. But
Perhaps.
hiring a Eagles defensive coordinator like Matt Patricia or that other
Oh,
dude
that
that
would
you
be
cannot pronounce his name. I don't even know the name, so I quickly forgot. I don't think that's a bright idea. I mean,
he
doesn't it
was
sounds like Mike
he
McDaniels has a hate towards Brandon Staley.
eh, uh, that's what I was under the impression of too, because in one of Mike McDaniel's press conferences when he was talking about Brandon Staley and that defense, he pretty much just threw them under the bus and threw crazy amounts of shade at them. I don't think they like each other, and I don't think McDaniel thinks that highly of Brandon Staley, and at least his defensive schemes. But he's a whole lot better of an option than Sean Desai, or however you say his name, and especially better than Matt Patricia. But thankfully for them, Matt Patricia wasn't floated around as a possible option. If it was, then just give us the division again. Like we've earned it at that point because they ain't going to be able to do anything with that scheming. The best thing they did was try to interview Bobby Babich, but we'll see if that actually winds up going anywhere. But they're just I can't believe you just let Fangio go that easily. I know he had family reasons. I know a lot of players didn't like him, but the amount of pure pain you could see in the eyes of every Dolphins fan when they saw the news. Oh, it was great. It was just great. You love it. You love to see it. But like I said, they're just idiots for thinking they're gonna be any type of competitive on the defensive side of the ball, despite the fact that the defensive side of the ball, even with all the injuries, still did the best against Kansas City compared to their star-studded offense with the best receiver in football, one of the best receivers in football, and a bunch of other guys. Not even a tight end. We are electric running back in Devon Chan, and you only put up 7 against Kansas City. 7. Look at what the Bills did. Absolutely took him all the way up and down the field multiple times. So yeah, that'll conclude that one, Paul. I got that one out of my system.
I want to throw one small little curveball as just kind of wrap up because when this will post, it will be the day before conference championship day, which is the AFC and NFC. In a quick sentence, give me your hottest take for this weekend.
Hottest take?
Yeah.
Let's see. If it has to be
In
one
one quick
sentence.
sentence.
Okay, one quick
Yes.
sentence. If I had to say anything at all in one sentence, Ravens defense holds the Chiefs to less than 14 points.
There you have it. There you have it. That's the one quick sentence. That would be the quickest sentence you would probably ever hear Connor do on any of these shows.
Now
You
watch
gotta
me be
hold them.
wrong.
Hey, it's Connor's takes. You're going to have some good ones and you're going to have some bad ones.
That's the point.
That's the point. And that's the point why we're here giving you some more great content here on the Undercovers Network. If you like this and you like Connor's takes and you like me hosting it and giving you some opinions on Connor's takes, follow the show on social media, follow both of us, follow all the other hosts. We go live every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, give or take 5 minutes for technical issues or anything else, but mainly it's 7 o'clock at on Mondays. Sometimes we push it to Wednesdays. Just depends on how the schedule flows.
hmm
More of these Connor's takes will happen in the future. We're trying every week, but we're gonna plan for about every week. But if we can't, it's all right. Maybe just a few episodes, sporadically for extra content as well. Thanks for tuning in. Go for whoever you feel like going for, the script or any other thing that's going to happen on championship weekend, because it's going to be a whirlwind of a weekend.
Yeah, you
With
got that
that,
right.
enjoy the rest of your day. And this was the first take of many of Connor's takes.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.